And what's up, everybody? So welcome to the webinar. Would you guys like to know how Jeanette in the other screen generates a six-figure income from her microblading services working 8 days per month? You heard me right, and you're going to find out how she does it in today's webinar. All right, here we go. Would you like to achieve six figures from your microblading and permanent makeup services? Well, let me welcome you to the 6-Digit Club podcast, where we deliver to you actionable strategies, inspiration, and a little humor along the way. We want to help you to join a growing list of microblading and permanent makeup artists who have become members of the exclusive 6-Digit Club. And what's up, everybody? All right, so I'm so excited for today's webinar. We have Jeanette Janine on the webinar with us today. I'm Glenn, your host of the 6-Digit Club Microblading Career Success Stories webinar. We are beauty angels, and today you're going to hear an amazing story of someone who has taken this microblading opportunity to a very interesting place where she's very successful, and she has a really cool lifestyle where she gets to spend lots of time with her family and her kids, and that's one of the most amazing parts about this opportunity that we're going to share with you. But Jeanette, would you say what's up to everybody?
Hey, hello.
All right, so we're going to get all into Jeanette's story here in just a minute. Let me cover a couple quick things. For those of you who've never seen our Success Stories webinar before, it's going to go about 30 to 40 minutes. And by the end of this webinar, you're going to know exactly how Jeanette built this incredible, successful business for herself and how she works 8 days per month, generating this incredible income and lifestyle that she's created for herself. You will know how she did it, but you're also going to know how you could follow in her footsteps. And so, Jeanette, one of the cool things that we're going to do on today's webinar is we're going to show everyone the Beauty Angels Academy Microblade and Shade course. We're going to show them the two most important things that they really want to know about it, which is right over here, the kit that it comes with. All right, so you're going to see the premium kit and what's in it. And we're also going to show them a little kind of a sneak peek into the content of the course itself, okay? The course material. We're going to show you how you can actually learn this technique and build it into a successful career. Sound good?
Yay.
All right, so we're going to do it. If you have any questions as we go through, if you're actually logged into the webinar, feel free to send your questions through the chat. Our team is standing by to answer questions that you might have. If you're watching us on social media, on Facebook or YouTube, feel free to put your comments into the actual social media post. And hey, why not give Jeanette a like? Why not give her a little comment on there? Go, Jeanette. We're so proud of you. We're excited. You're inspiring us. Any questions that you might have, anything, share it with us, and feel free at all. You know, you can always feel free to actually share the post and help us reach more people. And last but not least, if you'd like to take action, if you're really inspired by Jeanette's story and how you can actually turn this into a successful career for yourself, and you're even just curious about it, what you can do is there's a link somewhere around this video. You can click the link. It'll take you over to our website, which is beautyangelsacademy.us/consultation. And you can schedule a free consultation with our staff. They're super friendly. They'll be very happy just to answer your questions, no pressure, and they'll help you figure out if a career in microblading is for you. Jeanette, I know that was a long spiel, and you're like, oh my God, is this guy gonna shut up already? But I promise we're gonna get started right now. So if you're ready, let's do this, yeah?
Yay, I'm ready.
Okay, perfect. I'd like to just start very quickly. If you could explain what microblading is, I'm gonna take everybody over to your Instagram page. And guys, if you'd like to follow Jeanette, her Instagram here is Master Jeanette Janine. Okay, Master Jeanette Janine on Instagram. Give her a follow. There's so much to learn from this amazing woman. Follow her, hack what she's doing, figure it out. And Jeanette, explain to them, what is microblading?
Microblading is the most amazing technique of permanent makeup. It's so natural, so realistic, and it changes lives. It makes people so happy. It helps your self-esteem. It makes you feel so beautiful, so secure. It's the most amazing thing that I could ever learn. I never imagined I would learn something like this.
What's the actual technique? What is done to make the brows look so amazing?
It's a kind of a very superficial tattoo. It's not real hair. It's drawn on the skin. It's a how do you say hyper realistic? drawing,
Hyper realistic. Uh-huh.
hyper realistic drawing on the skin. It is so superficial. It's not permanent. It's semi-permanent, and it looks super real.
This is amazing because here's an example of a person who had barely any hair at all. And guys, this is tattoo. These are tattooed hair strokes. This is microblading plus, in this case, it's also shading, I believe. Yes?
Exactly.
Okay. So would you explain, Jeanette, what is shading and how do you use that with microblading to create an effect like this?
Okay, there's two kind of shading. You can do manual shading, which is the one that we teach on the basic course of microblading and shading. It's really easy to do. Everybody can learn to do it. And actually, well, if you have the appropriate teachers.
Right.
And then there's this other way to do it that is powder brows. You do it with the machine, and it also gives you the shading effect.
Yes. And so the result of it is you can take someone who has almost no hair like this, and you can make something incredible like this. Now, Jeanette, people are going to be looking at this and they're going to think that, oh my God, Jeanette is so insanely talented. How could I ever do this? For someone who's looking at this and that's what they're thinking, what would you say to this person?
Oh my God, my work was so horrible when I started. I think there's a latex picture around my Instagram, so you will see my strokes were so horrible. I cried when I started. I thought, this is not for me. If I'm a makeup artist, and I thought, oh yes, this is gonna be so easy. Then I realized that I didn't really, that I couldn't. At one point I thought, I can't do this. But then with the right people, with the right academy, with the right knowledge, you can do it. It's just, you need to be sure about yourself, believe in yourself, and just do it again and again and again, and eventually you just gonna be able to do it. I know so many people who were lawyers, dentists, even construction people who now are doing microblading. It's amazing. Everybody can learn.
Yes, it is amazing. And so, Jeanette, let's get back to your story here for a moment, because your story and what you do today is so inspiring to me. I'd love to work 8 days out of the month and live the life. But tell us kind of like, let's start with kind of where you're at today, and then we'll go back in time and sort of fill in the gaps for everybody about how you started and how you got the first couple of customers and made your money back from your course. Because I know someone's watching this and they're like, wow, this looks so cool. And they're going to love to hear what you'll share about your lifestyle today. But they're going to want to know, like, if they put the money out to invest in this course, how are they going to make their money? So don't worry, guys. I'm going to ask all those questions. But Jeanette, where are you today? What's life like? How many days do you work? What is it? Okay,
it's crazy because I travel all the time. Well, 3 times a month. I do 3 weekends. Most of the time it's a weekend. I work in different cities in the United States or Mexico. I work for 2 or 3 days, and then I come back home to my family. That's what I do. I do microblading, I do powder brows, and some other permanent makeup techniques.
Mm-hmm. And so during that time when you're away doing this work, so like what's a city, for example, where you would go, and how does it work?
Well, the most famous places I go, it's LA, it's Cancun in Mexico, it's a beautiful beach place, and Mexico City, and different cities in California. I move around because I have so many clients. Mm-hmm. And some now and then I go to different cities so I can get to know different places, interesting places. I go for a couple of days and I come back home.
And so when you're in, let's just say you're in LA, for example, because I know you have a home in LA, but just when you're there, for example, and you're working for a weekend, how many treatments will you do and how much do you charge?
Okay, when I work, it's really intense. I like really much what I do. It's so inspiring, and so I'm so passionate about it. I do from 8 to 10 people a day when I work, the 2 or 3 days that I work.
New appointments?
Sometimes touch-ups and then new ones, like maybe 50-50.
50-50. So,
Sometimes new ones all the day, sometimes, but most of the time it's 50-50.
so it's somewhere between, like, let's say 4 and 5 new treatments and 4 and 5 touch-ups.
Uh-huh.
And
Yes.
and you just have them back to back to back to back like that.
Yes.
What time in the morning do you start and what time do you end?
When I work, I start at 8 or 9, depending on the amount of people that I'm going to see. And I finish at 9 or 10 p.m.
Wow, that's a long day.
Yes. Sometimes I start at 7, but because when I go to certain places that I'm not going to be back, like never. It's like 12 people who want me to see them, 13 people. So I say, okay, I'll do it. But that doesn't happen really often.
Uh-huh. And so in LA or in California, how much do you charge for a new procedure?
It depends on the client because sometimes they have previous work and it's more job to do, like to fix it and everything. But it's like from 500 to 550, and I'm
Mhm.
not that expensive. I think I want people to be able to pay for the treatment. It makes people so happy.
Does that include a touch-up?
No, it doesn't include the touch up. It depends if the touch up is like little work, it's $100, and if it's an old client, it's 350. Depends on the amount of work that I have to do.
Uh-huh. So when you're describing your day, like 4 to 5 new appointments and 4 to 5 touch-ups, some of those touch-ups could be $100 touch-ups and some of them could be $350 touch-ups and anywhere in between.
Yeah, when it's a 100 touch up, it takes like for half an hour, 20 minutes.
Uh-huh. So that's the most amazing thing about this service. For those of you who are watching this, the reason why Jeanette can work so few days per month and make, a very nice income for herself is because it's a high-end service. And if you're very efficient with your time, like Jeanette is, obviously, and she works quickly and efficiently, you got to be very efficient to do that many procedures throughout, one of those days. But by doing it that way, you get a lot of leverage. And so you can make a lot of money in a short amount of time. And then you can create freedom outside of that very intense time that you're working. That's basically what you're doing, right, Jeanette?
Yes. Yes, I work intensely for a few days and then come back home and enjoy with my family, enjoy my home, or go to the beach because I love going to the beach.
Wow. And so you spend a lot of your time not working. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Um, does it ever occur to you to just, like, the amount of money that you're able to make, let's just say on a day that you're working, if you were to just work the whole entire month like that
Yeah.
and then take off the rest of the year?
Yeah, I've thought of that, but no, I've tried to work a few more days, but it's so many people, your body can't handle it. So I work for 2 or 3 days, then rest for 5 to 6 days and do yoga and whatever, all this. I'm the kind of person that thinks that it's really important to do what you love to do and work and then be with your family and then do your exercise and then study and, like,
Balance. Yeah.
yeah, I like having a balanced life. It's not just work, 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 work. Because
Yeah.
I make a lot of money anyway.
I'll tell you what, even for me being, building this academy, this is something that I really like. I enjoy having these conversations with you, Jeanette, for example, I just had a conversation yesterday with Jacoby, who's one of our artists, and she's not a 6-digit club member. Okay. She's not making 6 figures. But you know what? She was a receptionist making $12 per hour before she started. And since she built a successful career, she doubled her income and she was able to cut down from working 6 days a week to working only 4 days per week. And so it's been life-changing for her. And to hear these stories and to sort of be a part of this, it's something that's very emotionally fulfilling, and I know in your position as an artist and now as a Beauty Angels master trainer, being able to teach this to others is an amazing opportunity.
Yeah, helping people to do what I do right now, especially when you have kids and you want to be more with them and be a parent, you need to have more time. It's not just going to work and forget about yourself. That's another thing that I just said it 2 minutes ago. You need to have time for yourself to do things that you like. Maybe you like to paint, maybe you like to do yoga, maybe you like to go to the beach every month and just spend 2 or 3 days doing nothing and enjoying what you're making, the money that you're making.
All right. So we have a couple questions here, and I know this is, it always comes up. So I got to get to this. People want to know, how did you do this? How did you do this? So if you don't mind, let's just go back to the beginning real quick. And I'd like you to tell me in the most abbreviated version of the story, what were you doing right before you decided to get certified in microblading? Like what motivated you to do it? And then I'm going to ask you some questions about how did you like get a foothold in this? How did you get established?
What was I doing? I just had my second baby. She was 6 months old, and my husband lost his job. And then I said, okay, I need to do something. And I found out about microblading, and I just thought it was an amazing thing to learn. I learned it, and 2 months later, I was making all this money. Obviously, I really got into it, and I really started studying and how do you say, like, me metí mucho en el tema sometimes.
Right. You really gave yourself to the subject and became a real student of it.
Yeah, and I started using Facebook and uploading all my work and paying a little bit, boosting my posts, and it started getting crazy. Yes.
So when you said so if I could just be a little bit specific right now, because some people, they want to know, like, what did you do? Like, I understand you went from here to here, but what did you do? When you put your work on social media, on Facebook, and you put up posts, did you just post them with your own personal profile? Did you create a business page? Did you go on groups and forums? How did you do it?
Okay, I think the thing that helped me most, besides Facebook, is that the first maybe 20 clients that I had, I only charged the product. I didn't really charge the whole procedure. So people started looking at my work, like friends from my clients and everything, and they started recommending me. That was one thing. I didn't spend money on leasing or renting any places. I just called to different, how do you say this, places where you get facials or spas or
yeah. Well, okay.
I rent a workplace for a couple of days. Yes. And they charged me like $50, $100. And then I called all the friends and all the people I knew, and do you want to get your eyebrows done? And so I didn't spend money on renting or buying the table and the lights and everything. I just started just working on places that were already established and paid a small fee to use it for a couple of days. So that helped me out to do a lot of people and no gastar tanto dinero. I didn't spend that much.
Right, you didn't waste a lot of money. That's really, really smart, the way that you did that. And so you did this, and still to this day, you don't even have your own studio.
Have a studio. I travel all the time. People call me from around California. Well, I'm going to be traveling around United States this year, but it used to be only California and lots of cities in Mexico. Yes.
And so so people got to know you purely from your posts on social media and then boosting those posts.
Exactly. That was, and still is, my the strongest goal that I have.
Facebook or Instagram?
Facebook. Yes.
Facebook.
I don't know why. It's like, it works a lot. For me, it works. Maybe because I come to Mexico, and maybe it's bigger in Mexico, Facebook.
Did you build a website?
Yeah, I have an official website. I don't have an official website.
Wow, and you did this even without a website.
Yeah, I only have my Facebook, and I opened my Instagram like a year ago. So I have a few followers, but the most followers that I have are on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. And okay, so let's go back here. So how long did it take you to recover your investment from the course?
Since I wasn't spending money on rent, like a month. Yes, maybe.
That's very clever, because the revenue that you made was almost entirely profit.
And it is till I just travel and I come back home. I pay my planes and my hotel rooms, and that's it. And obviously my products, which I use to work, but that's it. And I just give a small fee. Well, sometimes people ask me, can I have how do you say, una ganancia por vender tu servicio, like a commission?
Mm-hmm.
and I have a commission. I give commissions to people who get clients for me. I travel to this city, and that person gathers all the people, all the clients. Oh, Jeanette is coming here, and she gathers 8 to 10, 18 people, and she gets a commission, and then I come back home. So I don't pay for rent. I just give the commission for the amount of people that she gets for me.
Wow, almost like an organizer, not for a course, but for providing services.
Yeah, so I don't spend on rent or anything.
Wow, that's very clever.
I don't have responsibility. I'm a free soul.
I can
If
see
I
that.
want to work a month, it doesn't matter because I don't have to pay for anything. I own my home, which I finished paying with microblading. I just bought a small piece of land in an island near Cancun, which is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Free, and I'm free, and I have time for my kids.
Wow, that's so amazing. So you spend a lot of time with your family?
Yes, we go to the beach every 3 months. I told you that we bought this piece of land in Holbox, which is an island.
I know Holbox. I've been to Holbox. That's
So
one of my favorite places on earth.
yeah, it's so beautiful. There's flamingos, and well, you know what I'm talking about. And we are building our small beach house there, a little cabin there. It's a really nice place to be. You should go. Anybody who's watching this should go to Holbox. And yes, that's my life. I go to the beach every 3 months. I travel 3 weekends per month, and the rest of the month I'm home. Yes, and I'm in Mexico and in the United States all year. I travel.
Okay, so that is an unbelievable story. So I hope I've answered the question. For those of you who are watching, you're wondering how she did this. You now know how she did it. She boosted she worked hard she took a good course. She worked hard to develop the art, to become a high quality artist. She put her work on Facebook. She offered discounted services in the beginning to fill up her book. And she started booking up, and she didn't rent, or take out a lease on a long-term place. She started renting for very limited periods of time, for days at a time or a day at a time at these different locations. And that's how her business developed. That's how it happened, folks. That's how it happened. But
yeah.
go ahead.
Oh, and it still works like that. I don't
Right.
Go to New York, so I just contact someone in New York. Do you want someone to, or do you want me to go to New York to do microblading? Oh yeah, sure. And sometimes they call you. It's just be open to whatever it comes to you.
Jeanette, yeah, that's so cool. It's so cool because what you've done with this microblading opportunity is different than what a lot of other people do with it. So, for example, I had a conversation today with Kim Jang. Kim Jang she was a student of ours, maybe 2.5 years ago, and she's now one of our master trainers, and she built a very successful career in microblading. But what's interesting about her story is that, first of all, she came from a very challenging set of circumstances. She was in a very abusive relationship, and she had 2 very young daughters, a 3-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old daughter who is a preemie. This daughter was born at 6 months old at less than 2 pounds. And so she's had health problems since. So imagine she had a 1-year-old daughter with health problems and a 3-year-old, and she's in this abusive relationship. And she left that abusive relationship with no money, with no resources. Her family was in Vietnam. I mean, just think about how challenging those circumstances are, the reality of that. She went into a women's, a women's clinic. I don't know what you call it, like a women's shelter, where they try to help and protect women who are coming from difficult circumstances. And long story short, one thing led to the next, and she started doing eyelashes, and then she discovered microblading. And she took Claire's course, and one thing led to the next, and she started building this little career for herself, which turned into building an actual, a salon, like a microblading and eyelash salon, if you will. She hired some other people who came in, started offering different services. And then now she got that place to work on its own. It runs itself. And so she moved on to a second location. This is a woman who did this on her own. No help, no resources, no family, no money, zero. She started from zero. And she did this, and now she has 2 fully operational businesses that run on their own. She has a bunch of people that work for her, and she sits on the top of this thing. And so that's what she did with this microblading opportunity. Look what you did with this microblading opportunity. You took it in a completely different direction. You didn't want to have all of the responsibilities that come with having multiple locations. You didn't want to go in that direction. You're the free spirit, and you wanted to spend time with your family at the beach and the quality of life, and you went that direction.
And even when I go to the beach, there's a few people, can you do my eyebrows? So I'm always carrying my stuff. And I come from vacation with money. I'm like, great. So we go to the vacation and we don't spend money because I just need to do 1 or 2 people and I pay for the vacation with that. So
and it makes your vacation tax deductible.
Exactly. It is.
That's so clever. Oh my God, that's so smart what you did. But all right, so we answered the questions for everybody about, kind of where are you and how did you do it? But I have a couple questions for you. So for someone who's watching this and they're like, oh wow, but I'm afraid of competition. There's a lot of microblading artists out there. I have thoughts about this, but I'd like to hear what your thoughts are.
Okay, you must have a quality work. You need to go to the best, learn from the best. Because when I started, I took a cheap course and it didn't work. I didn't make money. When I decided to do things the right way, the good way, the correct way, that's when things started to work for me. Because my work, I felt so sure about what I was doing, so secure that I had the right information, that I knew everything that I had to know to do a good work, and things started just flowing. And as Tony Robbins said, maybe a lot of people who are watching this know Tony Robbins. If you want to achieve something, do the same things that the other people, that someone that you know has done to achieve that. So if you know my story, if you know someone else's story that we achieve, or that we learned, or that we created this kind of life by doing or taking these certain steps, just do the same thing and you'll have the same results. Take a good course, believe in yourself. If you don't want to pay a rent or a lease, just do what I did. There's a lot of places where people don't do microblading. Lots of cities that call me and I don't have the time, but you have the time. So you can go to all those other places where they don't have microblading artists still. You think there's a lot of competition, but there is not. There's just few artists who do a good work around the world. So you can be one of those.
Yeah, and Jeanette, you just mentioned there's not a lot of good artists around the world. That's what I caught that at the end, because this is really important for any of you who are listening. There's 2 thoughts that I have on this. The first is something that Claire, my partner in Beauty Angels, tells me all the time. Glenn, lo barato sale caro. Don't forget, lo barato sale caro. So something that you think is cheap up at the front, so you go the inexpensive, like you have 2 options. One is more expensive than the other. So you go the cheap direction, but it ends up that you had to spend that money because that was garbage. You had to go spend again and end up getting the more expensive one anyway. So you paid for both now.
Yes.
Right?
And there's a lot of microblading artists, but there's not all this amount of microblading artists who really know how to work and how to take care of the skin and everything. It's not that easy, but you can learn it if you go to a good academy, which is Beauty Angels, obviously.
Yes, it's interesting because that idea, lo barato sale caro, applies both to the customer, someone, or the client who wants to get microblading. They may look for the less expensive option and they end up with bad quality work on their face, right? Or work that needs to be fixed in some way. And then they have to go and spend again to go to someone like you, who's a good artist. But it also applies to the student. The
Exactly.
student.
What I was going to say. The first course that I took, it was super cheap, like $200 or something like that. And it was so bad that I started to have problems with my clients because the results were horrible. So I'm like, uh-oh, I'm gonna end up in jail or something. So I got so scared. I shouldn't be doing this. I need to learn to do it the right way. So that's when I don't know from where I got the money. I just said, I'm going to do it. I asked my father, my sister, I borrow some money? I sold some stuff. And I just did it, and I recovered my money like in less than a month. It was crazy, but I learned the right way to do things, and that's what helped me out.
Yes.
That's and the rest of artists and the artists who spend invest their money in a good quality academy.
Yes, especially today, which was the other thing that I was going to say, is that you might think about this like, oh, there's a lot of microblading artists now. Well, yeah, you know why? That's because there's a lot of people who want microblading. A lot. Like just in the United States, think about how many women there are between the ages of 18 and just 65 years old. It's about, I think it's about 120 million people. 120 million people. So the potential customer base is so enormous. It's incredible. Think about how many hairdressers there are, you know?
And they all have work, you know? It's
But,
not like, oh, we don't have work anymore.
right. But here's the thing. Just like hairdressers and just like realtors or just like financial people, in any industry, there's the 80-20 rule. And that means that there's the 20% who do the 80% of the business, and the 80% who end up with the 20% that's left, and it's spread between them. So there's a small group at the top who are willing to do the work. And so here's the beautiful part about this opportunity, Jeanette, is that to me, we're going to show everybody in just a few moments, like a little bit of the actual course content. I want everybody to see that you don't have to be like a magical artist who's able to pull from the heavens this amazing art just into your body and boom, right, you know, on someone's face, some magic comes out. It's not like that. There's a process to it, and it's a learnable process. And if you can follow steps, and you have to do the work, if you're willing to do the work, not everybody's willing to do it. That's where the advantage comes in today, because not everyone's willing to put in the time and to do the work. If you are, that's how you can outcompete someone else who may even, by the way, have more talent.
Exactly.
They may even have more talent than you, but they're not as motivated as you and not as willing to put in the time and the effort to do it.
And if you have this dream that you want to make come true, that you want to come true, make it come true, you have the leverage to do the work. It's just 20 or 30 minutes a day that you need to work on your latex or whatever, your homework. And in approximately 6 to 8 weeks, most of students get certified. So you can do it. It's not, I'm not saying that it's super easy. You have the compromise and do it. But once you learn it, it's yours forever.
Yes.
Nobody can take it away from you. And that it's something that has a lot of value.
Jeanette, one of the cool things is that we have this group called the 6-Digit Club. And
Yes.
The 6-Digit Club is made up of our microblading artists who've come through our academy, who are earning in excess of $100,000 per year from their microblading services. Okay, if you do that, you qualify. You're a 6-Digit Club member, and that's why this webinar is called the 6-Digit Club Microblading Career Success Stories webinar, because we share a lot of stories from the 6-Digit Club members. Now, the interesting thing about this is this. Watch this. Take a look at this. Here's the 6-Digit Club. Okay, we have a page on our website, and it shows you here's the 6-Digit Club certificate. All right, and look at the members here for just a second. This is really interesting. Check this out. Let me just minimize these things. Amanda Busick was working a job, living paycheck to paycheck, making $11 an hour. Okay, she was not in the beauty industry whatsoever. Tanny Deep, who has a multiple 6-figure business, incredibly successful. This girl was in the fashion industry. Paula McPherson. Jeanette, if you could think of someone who's in a career that is like the opposite of beauty, there's a couple of, I don't know, maybe some careers come to mind. How about a chemist? When you think of someone that's like the opposite, you think of like if I said chemist, you would say that's like the furthest thing from the beauty industry. Paula McPherson here was a chemist.
Wow.
She was a chemist. She is now a 6-Digit Club member. She's making 6 figures from her microblading career. She quit her job as a chemist. Lauren Lake Petrich was living in her mom's basement with 2 young kids. Her husband, I could tell you a whole story about them. It's so amazing. You should watch their success story. But they now have a salon with 16 artists, 16 artists, and her husband now works in the business with her. Shirley Garcia also, her husband works in the business. Kenneth here in Puerto Rico, 6-digit club member, difficult economy, nursing student making $200 a week. Okay, so I could just keep going and going and going. Guys, anybody can do this. And guess who else is going to be a new member of the 6-digit club? Jeanette Janine. Jeanette Janine is going to be our next 6-digit club member. So congratulations. I wish we had this prepared here on this webinar. I should have had this prepared so I could present this to you right on this webinar. I'm so sorry that I didn't have that prepared. That's my bad. But
don't worry, I'll be waiting for it.
All right, well, you're going to have it very soon. You're going to have to take a cool picture with it for me.
Of course.
Well, hang it on your wall in your office. Wait a minute. You don't have an office. So
I don't have an
carry
office.
it with you.
I have all my diplomas and certifications at home.
Okay. All right. So at least you have a place to hang it. You'll hang it in your home in Holbox. And I want to come visit you in Holbox. That's my favorite place. So
you will.
Thank you so much. So let me just share with everybody. So for those of you, you're watching this, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'd love to do something like this. You know what you can do to take action. You can click the link somewhere around this video, connect with our team. They'll answer all your questions and we can figure out if a career in microblading is for you. But let me show everybody how you actually learn microblading, okay? I'm gonna show you real quick. So when you join Beauty Angels Academy, you take the basic course, all right? You can take it as a live course or you can take it as an online course, either way, all right? Both the online version and the live version are going to give you access to this 20-level curriculum. And we have thought of absolutely everything, I promise you. And let me show you how it works, all right? So once you start doing the course, the very first level is brow shaping on paper, all right? Imagine you take a pencil and you just start learning to draw the shape on paper. That's it, that's your first lesson. You submit your work to your master trainer and they respond back to you. And once you master that one simple lesson, then they authorize you to move on to the next lesson, which is drawing the stroke patterns on paper. Again, with a pencil, simple, all right? So we give it to you in sort of like baby steps and we get you started so you're feeling successful as you go through. And each step repeats the same process where you submit your work, your master trainer responds to you and you engage with a back and forth until you master that exercise. And you go through the entire course in this manner until you get to the point of level 18 where you're actually going to be prepared to work on a live model. You actually take everything that you learned and you work on a live model. Now, at that point, you can trust in your education because your master trainer, whether it's Jeanette or if it's Leslie or Claire or Patti or whoever it is, they've confirmed for you at every step of the process that you have mastered that step. And so you can be confident that you're ready because they're not going to authorize you to move on to working on a live model until they feel that you're ready. So you could take confidence in that. And let me show you what the content actually looks like. So we have all sorts of content. We have videos that demonstrate what it actually looks like. And I'll show this to you for a second. Can you hear that?
Yes.
You can hear it? Wait, I don't know if I shared it with sound. Hold on one second. Let me make sure I did. Yeah, I did. Okay, hold on. Welcome to level 5. In this level, you're going to practice connection strokes and learning the connection line on latex. You're going to need coarse set latex, a single blade. All right, let me just fast forward through this for a second because I want you to see what the animation looks like. We must always make a line to have a guide to connect all of the lower and upper strokes together. The connection line starts from C2 and finishes where the hair direction changes. This line is the darkest part of the brow due to all of the strokes. All right, you guys can see this is like heavy duty content, okay? So you get videos, you get written content, you get animated versions of it, plus you also get to see what it looks like on real skin. You can see the different connection lines, both in an animated version on skin. But Jeanette, one of the things that I think is so important, so powerful, that's so helpful for our students is not only do we have like a video that shows you the lesson, the exercise you need to do, an animated version of it, But what it also has, oh, excuse me, hold on one second. Where did I go? Here. But what it also has is, look at this. We have a mistakes video. In this video, you get to actually see, like, just think about this for a second. We've had over 3,000 students who've come through our academy, and we know what they struggle with. And so we made a mistakes video that demonstrates to you the common mistakes that a lot of students make, or they tend to make, as they go through this point of the course. And so we show it to you so you can have like a marker that says, hey, by the way, as you're going through, watch out for this error. Make sure you don't make this error. Okay, so we've really thought of everything, and this is how you go through the course. And at the end, you have 2 levels for shading as well. And that's the course. And you have support from your master trainer like Jeanette for 6 months. You have plenty of time to go through the course. And in addition to this course, you're also going to get the premium kit. Okay, so let me show you this kit for a second. This kit, Jeanette, one of the best parts is that this kit, after you open the wings and it flies away, I just kidding. After you open this kit, you'll notice one of the first things is that, oh my God, this kit smells so good. It smells so good. Literally, it really smells good. She's trying to smell it. The reason why it smells so good is because we have aftercare in here. We have all the products that you need to do about 80 treatments, okay? You've got all your disposable tools here. You've got your pigments. You've got just all the different things, but there's also aftercare. And so let me show you what these actual products look like so you can see here. That other kit behind is the advanced course kit. It's called the Angel Kit. But like here, this is Angel Care Gel, okay? If you could see this, you see these little tubes here. This is Angel Care, what you put on your client's eyebrow after you do the treatment, and you give them one of these tubes to take home. Maybe I can show it here. I don't know if you guys can, I hope you can see this. But anyway, that's aftercare. Here's the wipes that we use. This is one of the things that smells really good. You get latex, all right, that corresponds to your course, that has the actual stroke pattern on it. Then look at this. This is the golden ratio compass, all right? It's rose gold. If you don't like rose gold, I don't think you're gonna like Beauty Angels, because we made everything in rose gold. We love that color. But this is the instrument that you use to measure the brows and to make perfect symmetry. And Jeanette will teach you how to use that. Yes. And then this is also really cool. Check this out. You see this right here? This is our disposable tool. Now, what we used to use is a single disposable tool that has 1 blade on it, all right? Now, most artists, Jeanette, do you use 2 blades during a treatment?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah, so most artists, what they'll do is, like when you're actually doing the treatment, you're gonna do like what's called your first pass with one of the blades. It's either a U blade or our flat C blade. But then you're gonna do what's called a second pass, where you go over the strokes and you do pigment filling. When you do the pigment filling, you wanna be really precise so you get those beautiful clean strokes like you saw in Jeanette's work. So that's why we use a nano blade. And so it occurred to us, hey, most people burn 2 tools per treatment. Why not create a disposable tool that would have 2 blades in one? And that's how we came up with this disposable tool, which is really cool, where you've got the body of the tool up here, and then you've got this thing down here called the bullet. And this bullet has 2 different blades, the 2 different blades that you need. And you can literally take the thing out, turn it around, and stick it back in, and do your second pass, and you're only using 1 tool. It's really cool. It saves you lots of money. We've thought of every angle of how can we help you create something that will get you to your goal as quickly as possible.
Or sometimes you want to combine microblading and shading, and you can have both the shading needles and the microblading needles in the same tool.
Yes, exactly. So we've got, in fact, in the premium kit, you'll see we have 3 different types of disposable tools with different blades on them, so that you guys can have the opportunity to try them out and figure out what's the best fit for you. But Jeanette, thank you so much for participating with me here. The best thing that came out of this whole webinar, I mean, forget about our audience and forget about everything that's in it for them. I got an invitation to Holbox, And that's what matters.
Yeah, you do.
That's the most important thing.
About everything. And you know what? I'm really excited about helping people change their lives as my life changed. I'm a really, really happy person. I feel so free and so secure and so happy to have the opportunity to have learned this ability, this profession. I don't know. I think if you like beauty, if you want to change your life, if you've seen this technique and it's calling you, you should do it. Just believe in yourself and you can do it. You don't have to be a super creative artist or an amazing painter or anything like that. You can be whatever you are right now and believe in yourself and just do it.
Exactly.
It works.
Amen.
Yay.
Jeanette, thank you so much. Guys, if you want to take action on what you heard today, first of all, go follow Jeanette. It's, where are we? It's Master Janet Janine on Instagram. We'll put the link somewhere around this video. Go ahead and follow her. And if you got some good value out of what she shared with you today, please like this video. Comment on this video. Go, Jeanette. I'm coming to Holbush. I'll see you in Holbush. And yeah, and hey, share the video. If you have anyone in your mind that you think could benefit from this video, go ahead and share it with them. All right. And if you'd like to take action, if you'd like to actually inquire about a career in microblading and getting certified and how the whole deal works, go ahead and click the link you'll find somewhere around this video. And we will get you set up with one of our team members to simply answer your questions. Our team is super friendly. I hope you get the feeling that we are friendly. Look, we have pink in our color scheme. We have to be friendly, no matter if we want to be friendly or not. All right. But no, seriously, we're very friendly. They'll just answer your questions, no pressure, and we'll figure out if a career in microblading is for you. All right, guys. So thanks so much for participating, and we will see you on the next one. Adios, everybody.
Bye.
Peace.